Welcome back to the Preppy and Pout Podcast. I'm Jamie, and this is episode 3 today. We're going to be diving into balance in a marriage.
And I am Jason, and this is the Preppy and Pout Podcast.
So, discussing balance in a marriage. We've been together almost a decade.
Yeah.
Married almost a decade.
Yes.
We know people who have been married quite a few decades, not quite a decade, but our secret sauce to our marriage, what has caused us to last this long, I believe it's balance, is my one word to sum it up.
That makes sense. Balance. And we talked about it a little bit, right? There's different types of balance. You have the emotional balance between each other, and then you also have the life balance, like how we balance ourselves
Right.
day to day, week by week, when it comes to cooking, dishes, running around with the kids. Like all of that takes balance, but then the emotional balance is completely separate.
Right, I agree. And I think like task-driven wise, our balance, we've naturally kind of just fell into somewhat of like a routine on who handles what. For the most part, 99% of the time, you're the one making the coffee in the morning.
Yes.
You wake the house up, get us all going, and then I kind of handle it in the evening as far as making sure dinner is cooked and what that looks like. Every once in a while, we'll reverse our roles as needed.
Right.
But for the majority of the time, I feel like task-wise, that's our balance when it comes to the household.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And, not just the coffee, but, you also get up early in the morning just to make sure everybody's got their lunches and breakfasts packed and everything. Like it's literally a day-to-day thing. And we never really talked about it. It just happened. Like it just, you know what I mean? I take pride in making that cup of coffee for you so that, you don't have to go to Starbucks and have your sign up that says Preppy or Pout and then get into it with the Bartista there. You know what I mean? Barista, right? But yeah, we kind of just fell into those roles. I guess that's true now that I
look at it. Yeah. Well, cooking is always my love language. I love to cook. That's kind of my thing, even for the family. Whenever we host something, like, what do you want me to bring? Like, bring something if you want, but if not, I enjoy cooking, making breakfast for the family, dinners, lunch, kind of my love language.
Right.
But that is true. We kind of just fell into like who's going to handle what. I don't think we've had much trial and error in that department as far as who's going to do what with the household. I've never offered, nor have I ever cut the grass. I think I may have pushed the lawnmower a few times.
I take pride in that. I am okay with that.
But I've never got out there and just did the whole yard.
Right.
I mean, I pulled my fair share of weeds and planted some plants, but not doing the whole grass. Trash, I'll take the trash out, but not a fan.
We got a son for that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's typically like a guy type of chore.
Right. I'm with you. So we did talk a little bit about it, and the listeners don't know, but this is episode 3, part 2.
Oh yeah,
right. Because we did lose some audio, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're organic with it, but there was some great points that we brought up on the last one. One of the questions I think you asked was if we had to choose something. So if you could choose something for me to do that I don't normally do, what would that look like?
I've had this one in my mind for a long time. I hate pumping my own gas.
Yeah.
I feel like if my car's on E, like princess treatment should be that my husband pumps my gas. Is that realistic? No, but it's an ask. It would be a great future want is to not never, but to very rarely have to put gas in my car. I would like to just happen whenever I'm on E, and just the thought of going to the gas station now really sucks. And I enjoyed when we've gone up north. I didn't know it was a thing for up north. They have gas attendants, and you just put your monies and then they pump your gas.
Yeah.
It's so great.
They're also out there freezing their tails off, and they're part of a union as well. So they're trying to keep people employed. But I can understand that. I just, I struggle with that one. I do struggle with that one, but that's the reason why that's the way the question is written, right? It's something for you to put on me. But
so your answer.
But The thing that I can say though is it is tough for me to see a gentleman sitting on the passenger side when the car comes up to the pump, the woman's driving, and then the woman gets out and pumps while he just sits there in the passenger seat on his phone or whatever he's doing. That I struggle with. You know what I mean? If you're driving, I've got no problem getting out. I'm on the passenger side getting out and just letting you hang out there because you got to get us to the rest of our destination, right? So I'm good with that. I'm good with driving and pumping at the same time. But yeah,
but we can't judge.
Don't bring the car home on E because you're expecting me to get it filled up for you.
I would have to go to the gas station.
Then you got to go to the gas station.
No, that's not part of the question.
Pump your fuel.
That's not part of the question. But to be devil's advocate, we have gone to the gas station before for quite a few months with you in the passenger seat, and you could not pump gas because you had a surgery in your foot.
So that's not devil's advocate.
But that man could be like, "Wow, look at that woman. She has to drive and pump her own gas, and her husband's and they're scrolling."
The view, but he need to come talk to me. And I can tell him what's going on. We can have that conversation.
Be careful.
That's a good point. But me for you.
Yeah.
I love washing our cars.
Oh, I forgot.
I take pride in it. But yes, especially whenever we have a wager on the table, I do enjoy seeing you wash my car. I do enjoy that.
I think our last wager was the NFL game.
Yep, go boys.
Go Birds. And I did lose a bet. We won the Super Bowl, but
I got the
lost.
blue on now.
Yeah. We'll have quite an interesting podcast and football season. But that was the last time when I lost a bet because that Cowboys miraculously won.
We
won the Super Bowl, so it's fine. But we'll digress from that. But that's fair.
We're going to edit that out, please. Thank you.
That's your.
I enjoy that.
So another question when it comes to balance, we kind of said we fell into just a natural routine with the household chores. Yes. Was there ever anything in the beginning of our marriage or just in our relationship in general that we had to overcome when it comes to a balance? Like we really had to sit down and talk about, okay, this is what I do. This is what you do. How can we balance this out?
Well, that's a really good question. And, I don't think there was anything definitive that we had to sit down and talk about. I think it was, our families know that are listening, but a lot of our friends and other people listening don't know that we're a blended family. Mm-hmm. So I think that was the biggest hurdle to overcome was merging two families together. Yeah. You know what I mean? You and Mar, me, JJ, and Janae. So it was like, going from, when I had JJ and Janae on my own, having to do everything, and when you had Mar on your own, having to do everything, and now we're blending. So it's like, okay, you're going here to drop them off there. I'm going here. Like, we did have to kind of choreograph what the day-to-day looked like. And, my career at the time was a very demanding career. Like being in the line department took a lot of time, especially during storms, call out. So you carried a big piece of the burden. You were dropping JJ and Janae off in London at one point and then driving all the way to Orlando to go to work and then not get home till after 9 o'clock at night. Yeah. So that was not really a sit down conversation, but it was like additional duties put on your day to day where it wouldn't have been as much going on for you.
I think at that point in time, I was touching 3 counties a day.
Just literally 100.
I was, dropping kids off, picking kids up, and full-time job as well. Right. But didn't mind that. So I guess that would sum up as time management, who's going to handle what task and time. I think for me, it was our communication, right? We both had two very different communication styles. Great point. Where I'm an over communicator, and
bless your heart.
I would say you're a well under communicator, but it's fine. We're all different in our own ways. But I think that was a huge hurdle for us to overcome because it created a lot of frustrations because I wanted to over communicate. I wanted to tell you a lot more than you cared to know. And I thought in return, you should tell me a lot more than you did.
Yeah.
So we had to find that balance, right?
did.
Like that's where we kind of had to meet in the middle and understand that we are two different people. And what does that look like on merging it? So every time a situation came up, it wasn't frustration on both ends or one or the other.
Yeah. And we got to a place where the bare minimum is, hey, I'm safe.
Yeah.
I'm safe at work. I'm safe at home. I still may miss a time or two here, but there is a minimum requirement of communication, and just to be honest, me as a male, like if I'm doing stuff throughout the day, my day's getting busy, I'm not looking at sending a message, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where you can go out with your friends and you could be out to dinner and you're still texting me at home and sending me pictures of your drinks and stuff. And I'm like, why are you texting me?
And by the way, I get mad at myself for that.
Enjoy the moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? As long as I know you're good, I got your Find My, I got you located, we're good. You know what I mean? You don't have to text me and send me pictures. We can talk when you get home, but that's your form of communication. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, we did have to come to some type of understanding of each other's communication styles.
And I think it's good. Like I already anticipate if you're out golfing with the guys, like Careful. I'm not going to hear from you Hi guys. I'm not going to hear from you for a few hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
golfing.
The longest sport in history.
I'm putting in work. Don't do that.
9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on a basketball court is unheard of, but that golf field is like sucks you up and gone for a long time. But it's fine. I expect it now, right? You'll send me a random picture like you went golfing last week. You sent me a picture of the drink you were drinking. I'm like, oh, what is that?
That's it.
Chirp for 7 hours. I'm like, okay.
You got what you're going to get.
With my picture.
Yeah. Talk to you when I get to the house.
But in that same turn, like I was at cooking club. So, it's like pictures of my drink and my food and what this looks like. I feel like I've gone better. But I have to talk myself into like, oh, I'm not sending him a picture. He didn't even answer what drink was that. I'm not going to send him a picture now. But that's part of the balance, right? It's just because like we're learning ways where there are times where you're out and you normally wouldn't text me, but you're like, okay. Yes, Jamie's probably anticipating a text. Like, let me just throw something out there to keep her at bay and give her, little crumbs along the way of my day.
Just don't come chasing me. Just take it as I give it. Be okay with what I give.
But it's part of the balance, right?
It is. And, kind of to segue into it, a question that I had as well is, at any point in time, do you either choose your battles or not bring something up just because it either may not be worth the conversation or versus not want to have an argument? Like, what does choosing battles, choosing when to bring something up look like?
Again, I think that's another great balance that maybe not so much you've had to overcome, but me internally, because I used to be a very kind of in your shoes, under communicator when it came to talking about feelings, right? Like I suppressed everything. I wouldn't talk. I just dug it way down deep and thought, hey, if I do that, it will go away and never come up again. But as you get older and more mature and life lessons happen, I realized that was not the way to cope and deal with things. So sometimes I have a hard time in finding my own balance with things. Right. So it's like I went from that to the extreme of now over communicating. Right. So I think in that, learning how to dial back, not sending texts throughout the day on what I'm doing and things like that, but dial back on when to bring something up. So I've had a few talks with my girlfriends, and one of them said, they learned probably through TikTok, but like a 24-hour rule. So if you have something that you want to talk to your spouse about, sit with it for 24 hours. Okay. After that 24 hours, if it's still on your mind, then bring it up. And that doesn't mean sit 24 hours just pissed off and just mad and not talking and, like on the drive where you stare out the window the whole time on the way to wherever you're going. And but not like that, but to honestly just sit with it to see like, okay, is this something that I need to bring up? Right. or after that 24 hours, does it kind of subside and it's like, whew, I am so happy I did not bring that up because we probably still would have been fighting about it. Right. So I think that's been a pretty good rule of thumb. And it also allows me to sit with it long enough to know that if after that day it's still bothering me and I bring it up, my approach is a lot better. Right. Because in the heat of the moment, if something does come up and I bring it up, it's driven by emotion. Right. So I'm probably very angry. Right. So when I say what's bothering me or what I want to talk about, it doesn't come out in a conversational way. It's like accusatory and harsh. Right. And then we just go at it from there. Because
it's really about how you start the conversation. What does your energy look like when you start it? Because listen, I could be doing something, minding my own business, and you're like, okay, it's time. I've sat on it, and it's time to have this conversation, right? Yeah. So if I'm just minding my own business, putting a shed together or something, and you're just like, let me tell you something. It's like, well, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like if I'm already fighting my own battles out there, the shed is whooping me, the sun is beating on me. But if you come and it's like, I've held on to this and it hasn't gone anywhere, and it's gotten to the point where we have to have a conversation. Now it's like my guard's down. You know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, put the tools up. I need to take a break anyways. Let me know what's going on. Right. And I think that's the big piece is how you initiate that conversation. And it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest piece. But to your point, when it comes to balance, that self-reflection is what it took to get there. Because I'm sure, I can't think of any right off the top, but I'm sure there's been times we had conversation. It was like, this approach may not have been the best approach. Like, let me rethink that. And it goes both ways, honestly. Right. So I think that's the biggest key to the balance is learning the person that you're living with and how they receive information versus how you express that information as well.
Right. And you said self-reflection. I think that's a big one, right? Because in balance, like with us being so vastly different with different things, if we're so headstrong and steady on staying that way only, then you can't have one person driving towards the middle for balance and this person here because it will always do this, but it takes that two people coming together for that commonality of that balance. So what would you say in a marriage, in our marriage is something that you wish we had more balance of, if there's anything?
Wish we had more.
Is there something
was
that
a
we
snicker? I feel like it was a setup question anything, here.
You may say it's perfect.
Yeah.
But is there something that you can think of that we've talked about what we have tackled, right? What has been some of our woes and moments that have caused friction within our marriage we've overcome and balance. Is there anything still pending out there that we can work on as far as balance?
When I think about it, right, professionally, we've done great things as individuals. I think this is the first time we've taken a leap together and given 110% on both sides towards it, right? So, and what I mean by that is that the decade that we've been married coming up on now, this is the first time where we've had to be in the same space, innovating, having input. So, and it's not just the two of us, it's our producer as well. You know what I mean? And there's been times where it's like, well, I think we should do this, or we should do that. And okay, well, we're gonna run with that because I'm voted 2-1, and let's see how it works, right? And I think that's additional growing that we're doing now after being together all these years, because we've never gone into a space where we've created and innovated together and literally had to take each other's thoughts and, okay, I see what you're saying. You know what I mean? So I think that's different because you've thrived in your work field. I've thrived in mine with the, trucks and all of that, but we've never been in the same space. Yeah. Given that direction
together. I agree. Yeah, I agree. We've both kind of been successful in our own lanes.
Yes.
And as a marriage, yes. As parents, yes, but never like in a business sense, you know. And I think this is giving us like an opportunity to communicate and talk with one another and what that looks like.
Right.
But I can agree to that, because if you're venting about your workday or asking a leadership question and I give you my advice or input and you don't take it, I'm like, doesn't affect me. It's your job, not mine.
Get yourself fired.
But but now it's like, oh, this affects me. Like, no, we're going to sit down and talk a little more about this. So I think just my answer to that question would be communication, but like phase 2 of communication, where it's like,
that's a great point.
In a business sense, where it's, again, in your own career, if I give you advice and you don't take it, I'm like, oh, well, vent to me about this again in a week. And I'm going to be like, well, I told you
so.
what to do.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I told you so.
In this sense, it's like, oh, no, like,
right.
I can't say
that. We're going to
that.
battle this out right now.
We have to figure out.
Don't hit record yet.
Like, what that looks like. And then another thing I think, too, in a marriage, and I hear this a lot, like it's very cliche, so it's not just me saying this. I think a lot of women feel like that chase ends, right? And I can vividly remember saying to you when you talked about proposing or engagement, what that looked like, and me telling you, like, I don't know that I would say yes right now, because we're in such this honeymoon phase.
Infatuation.
Yeah, of like the chase, right? Where it's like, you don't know if I'm going to say yes to go out with you that night. You don't know if I'm going to pick up the phone. And when we're married, it's like, you better pick up the phone.
Damn right.
So that was one of my things, you know, being a second, you know, in a second relationship and serious and wanting to build and create a family. Like, I was very hanging on to my independence and didn't want that chase to end. But another balance point, right, where I think we went through a period after having our daughter and normal life. Like you said, work was busy. You were working a lot of hours. I was running the household. But we, in the past couple years, recently got back into dating.
Yeah.
And I think that balance has been so good. We went so long, not to say we didn't have dates. Like, we would have them sporadically, or my mom would take the kids, your mom would take the kids. And we were like, oh, like, wow, this is crazy. This is
quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet. Minus our dogs.
Right.
But I think in the past year, maybe it's been 2, we put it on the calendar.
Intentional.
It's very intentional. And it felt good knowing when I was getting every other Friday when I get off work, like, I'm going to go home, get dressed, we're going to shout, we're going to go out. And that's when we kind of, I think we talked about it in episode 1, maybe 2, I can't remember, but we figured out, like, we started making reservations, but then we would get to the restaurant and be like, oh, can we sit at the bar if there's openings? And we started like talking to the bartenders and figuring out different drinks that we like and really building that rapport. But I think that was a huge balance step for
100%.
us. And there was days or nights where I got home and that week just whooped me at work.
When you ride home with no music on.
Oh yeah, I've done that. Or even you pull up in the driveway, like, did I teleport here? Like, did I want a red light? I don't even remember getting
that's
here.
Wild, right?
That happens to me.
It's a real
probably
thing.
More than I should.
It's a real thing. But I think to go back to your point, that I think the best part about those date nights is once you get them on a rhythm, you get more creative, and you even start to see different places of your community that you haven't been. And now you're like, oh, we've been to that place. What about this place? Like, I heard about this place. Why haven't we been there yet? Right. Yeah. And then you just learn that there's so much going on outside. You know what I mean? And then you start to learn, oh, okay, well, we like this type of food. We can say this type of food is good and try to drink. So it's a whole different type of bonding, and it helps balance out that daily grind, because you can easily get into the grind and just forget that you can still have to love each other. Yeah. You still have to have those building phases, because a lot of people, they have children, they live for the grind and taking care of the children, and then when they leave the nest, there's nothing there. There's no relationship there, right? Yep. And I can't wait for them all to move out. Like, we're working towards that.
So we've hung out with older couples, right, where their kids have gone and they're in a different phase in life where their kids are off to college, having their own kids and out. And the majority, I would say it's probably more so of the women, but even a lot of the men that we've talked to, they say like you're going to miss it so much. You're going to miss you're going to miss the noise and the dirty walls and the chores not being done and we'll see. But I did have an aunt tell me, when you have kids, don't make your sole purpose your children as they're growing up. Love them, of course, be their number one fan. But when they leave, if you've let 18 years of deterioration go by with your husband or your wife, your spouse in general, then now when the children leave, you guys are strangers. And you've said it before, like, people who don't want to retire just because they're like, I'm not sitting in the house with my wife all the time.
And
it's so different to think about, different people's walk in life. But I think having the support system that we do and listening to what people have gone through. And, that was great advice to me because I've always been like helicopter mom. Like I get home and it's like, oh my God, my kids. Thanks. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3. Stay tuned to episode 4.
Yes, and we are going live on YouTube on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. See you later.